Okay, so I think the game plan will be we'll do a little bit extra tonight and a little bit extra Motzei Shabbos, and then we won't have tomorrow. Friday is hectic, especially in the winter, and then we'll go from there. So we'll try and finish.
Tonight you have to go. Tonight's guys is Simon Sifchas in Simon A, and tomorrow you goes out to Simon Kazayin.
Okay.
Sif
Tazayin, yeah. So okay, we'll try and go to like Yud Aleph, and then Motzei Shabbos. Then Motzei Shabbos also be 10 o'clock Bez Hashem, and we will so we'll ask you a little bit tonight.
Nothing.
What?
Tomorrow's nothing. It's just tonight
tomorrow,
and then
nothing. Tomorrow's the day of Chazar. Tomorrow's Chazor.
Okay.
Yeah, and also I want to just afterwards try and, meaning every night, just go over outside exactly what it is that we learn. Okay, so Siman Hay, continuing in dealing with dirtiness and bathroom, etc. So in Siman Hay, Sif Beis. All right, so it says Vavhilu lahar b'divrei kedusha. Even to think in Dvarim Shebekidusha b'makam tsaya, where there's tsaya is excrement, amiraglayim or urine, or kol davar shehu masriach, or anything that smells bad, that's asur. So you're not even allowed to think in Torah when it smells bad. Until you cover it. K'mo shenemar b'chisisa say osecha. Meaning if there was a little bit of urine or whatever amount of urine, you have to add revius, which is, let's say, 3.5 ounces, 3.3 ounces of water. Meaning, don't make a difference what came first, the urine in the kli or the water in the kli. You got to add on a revius of water to sort of dilute the urine. Vim hayu meir aglaim ba'avit umiyuchad lahen loy mahani lahu mayim, and then water's not going to help. Meaning, if it's what we call what do you call, like a bedpan? There's another word for it. There's a better word for it. What do they have at night in their rooms?
A commode.
A commode. A commode. Maybe there's also another word, like, okay, I don't remember. Either way, but if it's meyuchid for that, then you cannot make brachas. Now what comes up with this is a nebuch if somebody has a catheter or something like that. So a catheter is totally enclosed. So the place can say if it doesn't smell, then you're allowed to make brachas. If somebody's in the hospital, and it doesn't smell, so you can make brachas. And when it says it's covered, when it says you have to cover whatever it is that's giving the smell, that could even be a plastic bag, and it can even be a clear plastic bag. It just has to be covered, and then it's okay. And that's if you urinated twice, so you can beis revius mayim me v'chein lo'elam. You need 2 revius of water, and meaning for every time you urinate, you need another revius of water to dilute it. Okay, vafilu im valu ameraglayim bekarka ay bebeged, and even if the urine got absorbed in the ground or in clothing, as long as there's a little bit of liquid there, then you have to still pour water on that. Fine, that's base gimel. So this also, like we mentioned yesterday, can get people to get a little cuckoo. But if there's tsoya on your basar, like we just got finished saying in Beis, that if something that smells is covered, so then you're allowed to make a bracha. But if it's on your skin and you covered it, that doesn't work. Then it's still asur b'divrei kedusha. Shenemar kol atzmoisei tamarna Hashem micha moicha. All my bones, all my insides are going to say to Hashem, who is like you? So binin shehu kulam nikiyim. All your body needs to be naki. V'yesh makilim b'zeh, and there are those that are makilim. Aval hanochel la'achmer, the proper thing is to be machmer. But if by the rectum you have even the smallest amount of tzaya, even though it's covered, it doesn't help because in the place it's much smellier when it's there, right? So where it's in the place that it came from, so therefore any amount of tzaya there is a problem. So now what happens? You have hemorrhoids, and sometimes it bleeds, and it can become very hard to clean yourself, right? So misha yeshloi choli hatchayrim. Somebody has hemorrhoids. Ayin wagan avram shehevi chuvas haradvaz ubesoif divrei magan avram shekosov ein lo takana. This is very interesting. It says in the end of the magan avram, there's no takana for him. Meaning, what's the guy supposed to do? There's a printing mistake. Not that he has no takana. He doesn't need a takana. Meaning, basically what the poskim say is that you just clean up what you can, and then that's enough. Right? Fine. Dalit. Tzrichan nizar. You have to be careful that any place where you think that perhaps there's excrement there or urine, until you check it out. Meaning, in a normal house, you don't have to start looking. You want to start davening in a house to say Birchas Hamazon, you don't have to start checking and seeing, okay, did anybody urinate on the floor? Did anybody go to the bathroom on the floor? Obviously, that's not a big enough of concern that you have to check it out. But if you're in a place where there may be a concern, so then you'd have to look. I guess in the street, if you're in the street and you have to daven or something like that, so then you would be mechuyev to check to make sure that there's no urine around, that there's no feces. Ve'ein l'spalol babayis, and you should not daven in a house in Baaliyah yesh makam metunuf. This is a big controversy this here, because this basically eliminates. You shouldn't daven in a house if the upstairs has a place that's dirty. Meaning, if upstairs is a bathroom, you shouldn't daven there, right? So the Mefarshim say that this means not in your own personal house. That's not a problem for you to daven or say Birchas Hamazon when there's a bathroom upstairs. It means a shul or a besmerish. And so the question is, so how do we have all these shuls that have shuls in the basement and shul on the first floor, and the rabbi lives upstairs, etc., etc.? So there are makilim, although there's a famous Taz where he was very, very unhappy, and he said bad things happened to people that did this. So, well, the Meister, the Hanhog of Klal Yisrael seems to be that they do make shuls.
It would be even a problem in the bathrooms now where it flushes down and it goes out of the house?
So that's probably makes it also a little better. I would think that that's also a little better. But, yeah, so that's a whole sugya. Fine. Hey, Tinok she'achrim b'yamav yichon lechol kazayis minei dagam, meaning if a baby is old enough that he could already eat a kazayis of flour, or obviously it means bread, cake, these type of things, and afilo they tavshel b'kidei, and even if it's through a cooked food, b'kidei shegadol oichel shir pras, and it's the amount of time that a gadol would eat a piece of bread. Because of Sefer Migdal Lois Lagon Moreno Rav Yaivitz Zal Dahainu Kishanasa Shona, basically means a year old. Once a kid becomes a year old, Marchikin Mitzayasim Meiraglim. You have to stay away from his feces and from his urine. Meaning, a baby that's only nursing, so that's not the excrement that we're talking about. We're talking about excrement that comes from the breakdown of the intestine, with the intestines breaking down the food, etc. So, but a baby with formula and all that type of thing, so then that is, you don't have to stay away from that. But it's barely a year old. That's what he says from the Yavitz. But some say it's 3 months old, especially now that they have formula. So formula is considered food. Whatever it is, point is if it smells, then you have to stay away from it. Kitzur says really it's better to stay away from the tzaya of a kid that's already 8 days old. Fine. Vav tzayas adam afal pi she'ein la reach ra. the tzoya of a human, even if it doesn't smell. Meaning, let's say somebody goes to the bathroom, it doesn't smell. V'chein tzoyas chatul, unemiya, v'tzoyas tarnagol adoimi, tarnagol haidu, indig, meaning birds, what do you call it? Cats. That is any of the feces from that marchikim, you have to stay far away from them. Ushar tzoya shel behema chayav ba'oif, and all other excrement from a behema chayav b'stama eina misrachas, does not get decayed. Ve'ein tzrichin laharchik mehan, and you don't have to distance yourself from them. Aval im misrachas, but if it was decayed, v'chein nevela hamisrachas, and meat that decayed, v'chol davar hamasriach machmas ifush, anything that smells bad because it decayed, v'chein lul shel tarnagolim, a chicken coop, marchikin mehen, you have to stay away from them. All right, so these are basically, don't do dvarim shebekedusha when it smells. V'chein marchikin memayim sruchim, the same thing from water that decays, that you should also stay away from. Umay mishra shasharim by pishton, a canvas, whether canvas means canvas or it means marijuana, that can be up to you to decide. But if you soak those things, stam and masrichin, the stam is that they do decay, utzrichin laharchik mehen kamayim atzoya, and you have to stay away from them like tzoya. So basically, any bad smell, you have to stay away from. So meaning when you want to make brachas or learn or even think and learn. Zayin tzoya yevesha, kol kach v'yatzoya, you have tzoya that's so dry, she nefreches ayidei glila, that it would crumble. When it gets rolled, harehi ka'afar, then it becomes like dirt. V'hu shelo yehei bareach rabba, as long as it doesn't smell. Right, so sometimes you have like in a park, you have from the geese and stuff like that. So if it doesn't smell and it's dry, then there's no problem to daven there or to learn. Avol im nikra shamachmas akar, but let's say it's frozen because of the cold. Since it's going to go back when it defrosts, it's going to become fresh again, the same way we freeze food, I guess. Then it still has a shem tzoya, even though right now it doesn't smell and it's frozen. And snow that falls on tzoya is considered a cover, and you'd be able to daven. Right now, we didn't mention with the baby diapers, right? So a baby diaper, the diaper is not considered a cover. So if a baby has a dirty diaper, you have to remove the baby from the room, or you have to leave the room. However, if the baby has clothing on, then the Halicha Shlomo says that that's considered a cover, and that's okay. I'm assuming that's if it doesn't smell. All right. Fine. So now, how far away do you have to stay? So ches arkama marchikin. How far do you have to stay away from these bad smells? If the tzoy is behind him, you have to stay away 4 amos from where not from the tzoya, from where the bad smell ends. Then 4 amos. And even if, let's say you have a bad sense of smell, like me, I have no sense of smell, kemat. It's got to be really bad. So if you don't, even if you don't smell it, as if you did smell it. Right?
You know, you can't smell it.
Right. So how do you know? So it would have to be that somebody tells you about it. Right? What about sprays? Let's say you spray it. Right. So I don't. So it seems like that doesn't help. But the poskim do say that the smell is such an issue. That's if the tzoya is there, meaning whatever's causing the smell is still there. But if you go away, and if you take away the source of the smell, then you don't smell it, then you're okay. It's a very interesting kula from the Magen Avraham. The Kitzur doesn't bring it, but it brings it here in the Pirush that I'm using, the Piskei Teshuvos, right? Meaning, it's again, if the source of the smell is still there, then even if you don't smell it, you can't daven. But if the source of the smell is not there, and you don't smell it, then you're okay. So let's say there was a diaper changed in the room, and now the diaper was changed, and one guy smells it, one guy doesn't. So the guy that doesn't smell it is allowed to say Dvarim Shebekdusha, which is interesting because you got one guy davening and one guy not. Yeah. Bim Hatzoya Hina Misrachas, and let's say that Tzoya is not really decayed. Then, meaning there's Tzoya there, but it doesn't smell. So then Dalet Amos is enough. I mean, it's basically the same din. You have to stay more than 4 Amos where the smell is. So here the smell, if there's no smell, so you stay away 4 Amos. So that's if the Tzoya is behind you. If the Tzoya is in front of you, you are not allowed to daven. If you could see Tzoya, you are not allowed to daven, even if you're a mile away from it. Right? Although some say it's from the average sight. If you have much better eyesight, you don't have to worry about it. And even if it's at night where you can't see it at all, a sumo or a blind person, you have to stay away from the shear that you'd see it during the day. And so that's so far behind you, and then now that's in front of you. What about on the sides? It's best to be machmer and look at it as if it's in front of you. And what you should do is turn yourself. If you know it's off to your side, so then turn yourself sideways, and then you're okay. Tess, this is for tomorrow, right? So Bayeshim Aspalan by Betzibur. Let's say, yeah.
Was that an eitzah for tefillah also, or just for Dvarim Shebekdusha?
No, tefillah. Yeah, tefillah too, I think.
So it's better to daven not to Mizrach?
I would think so. That's what I would think. Yeah, I think so. Yeah, very good. Test. Bias Shemaspalin by Betzibur. You have a shoulder davening in parrots for you. You bias Shemaspalin by Betzibur, and Nimtza Sham Tzoya. And there's Tzoya over there. Even though it's behind the chazan, and it's 4 hours away from him. He's more than 4 hours from when the smell went away. You still have to be quiet, either till they take it out or until they cover it over. Because we're afraid there's got to be somebody in the shul that's going to smell it. Halavai, we should all do this in the first place, right? It's also for him to hear and to be mechavan what the shliach tzibur saying, right? Meaning you would think that the shliach tzibur, okay, he's davening his thing, a guy's listening in the back of the shul, and who cares if he's within the range of the smell? No, since he has a chiyuv to listen to the chazan, so then he can't listen to the chazan, so you have to stop the whole shul until you take care of this thing. Okay, Yud. Misha
does all this apply to stuff that smells disgusting to most people, other than?
You mean it's a subjective?
Right, meaning, I don't know, let's say throw up or whatever it is. You think of many different things that most people would smell.
Yeah, I think it goes with most people. Yeah, I think the din would be, I don't know for sure, but I think the same din would be with the guy that doesn't smell it, if he can't smell. So, right, the same thing. It's even this smell doesn't bother this guy, but he would have to go with the majority. Yeah, Yud Misha Mispal Shehispal Motza Achakach Sheyesh Shom Tzoya. Let's say you daven and then you find out there's a dirty diaper. Right? If it was a place where you should have been masubik, right? Meaning there's little kids running around, or you're in the streets of Manhattan and you're afraid that there's Tzoya there, V'hu Pasha V'loi Badak, and he was Pasheya, he was negligent, and he didn't check for it. Kiven the Tfilas. Shemana Esrei, he b'makam carbon, since Shemana Esrei is in place of a carbon, Havale Zevach, Rishayim, Tayeva, it's considered like the carbon of a Rasha, is a Tayeva, V'tzarech Lachzer L'spal Shemana Esrei, and you have to redaven. That's if you're in a place where you should have checked and you didn't check. Kriya Shema Shehim Deraisa. Ve'em b'chashash bracha levatala chayz v'karasenu. Kriya Shema that it's a deraisa and there's no chashash bracha levatala. Then avada you should read that. Ava b'loy habrachas, but don't reread birchas Kriya Shema. V'chein shar brachas shamar sham, and the other brachas that you say there. V'afilu birchas hamazon ein echayz mevarach, even birchas hamazon you don't go back. Right, so Shemana Esrei you do go back. Kriya Shema because because it represents Karbana, so you have to go back and do it. Kriya Shema, it doesn't hurt to say it. That's just Torah. The brachas of Kriya Shema you don't do, and Birchas Hamazon not either, because that's a suffix brachas, and we don't like to make suffix brachas.
That's the rice also, isn't it?
What?
Birchas Hamazon.
Yeah, but it's not a deraisa in that sense. Meaning, the whole point of a davening is to be a carbon. So you didn't what you didn't do, right? Yeah, meaning if you knew for sure there was a smell there and you didn't care, you davened then avada, and all the things you have to repeat. Here we're talking about where you only realized it afterwards, so then you don't do it. And let's say, so that's all if you should have been more vigilant. But if it's ne'ena makom roy l'stavik b'tzayad, does loy pasha. But if it's a place that you shouldn't have expected there to be a smell, then that means you were not negligent. Afilu b'tfila yoytza b'diavad. Even with b'tfila, you're yoytza b'diavad. B'nimtzu meraglayim. And if what you found is urine, afilu hamakom roy l'stavik yoytza b'diavad gam b'tfila. By urine, you'd be yoytza your tfila. It was much more maker with urine. Let's just do one more. Let's say you had a smell from the mata, meaning a past gas. Also, you're not allowed to daven until the smell goes away. And let's say you smell it from your friend, then you also have to wait. But if a person's learning, then you don't have to worry about a smell that comes from your friend, but you do have to worry about the smell that comes from yourself. And the poets can say that even if you're not disgusted by the smell, you still have to wait. Yeah. Okay. So then just a basic review of what we learned tonight. So it's basically all about staying far away from smells. If there's you're not allowed to think in learning if there's a bad smell. You have to stay more than 4 amas away from where the smell ends. If there's urine there, you have to pour a revius of water on it to dilute it. If there's tsaya, if there's excrement on your basar, then even a cover doesn't help. Meaning a cover normally helps for tsaya being in the room, but it doesn't help if it's on your skin. And if there's even any amount by the rectum, then that's for sure a problem. And then we said you only have to check if there's a bad smell if it's a place that you expect it to be. And then we said a child, it's really a year from when you have to start worrying about a smell coming from a child. And we also said that the tzaya of a person, even if it doesn't smell, is a problem. And same thing from animals. And it's best to stay away from all of that. If it's dry, then it's not a problem. And we said a shul should not daven. You should not have a shul with a bathroom on top of it. And then we said if there's a shul, if in a shul it ends up being a smell, everybody has to wait, even if the chazan can't smell it. And then we said a b'diavad, if there was a smell, so if you should have checked into it, so then you have to daven again, but everything else you don't say again because it's suffix brachas. But if it's not a place that you should have known about, then b'diavad, your tefillas are a tefillah. And then by passing gas, you are not allowed to learn if it's your own gas. If it's from your friend, then you are allowed to learn. But for davening, you are not allowed to until the smell goes away. Okay. Yashikeach, and everybody should have themselves a fine night.